today we're gonna make cornbread bread pudding. Let's get started. You guys, this dish is so easy to make. I have cornbread, syrup, blueberries, raisins, eggs, half and half, brown sugar, and a little bit of salt. So what I did earlier was I already baked my cornbread, and I actually, once I baked it, I took it out of the pan and I cut it up into like little square dices here, and I put it back in the oven because I wanted it to get really hard. Usually what people do is they use stale bread. You can use whatever type of cornbread you want. Jiffy mix, you can use cornmeal, you can make your cornbread from scratch if you like. You can also use donuts, you can use raisin bread, all kinds of bread. Whatever bread that's good for you that you like, you can use to make bread pudding. So, I got my little casserole dish here is what I'm going to use. And the reason why you want the bread to be hard is because you want, when you make up that mixture with the eggs and the milk, you want it to not like make the bread mushy. You want it to you want that bread to be firm enough to be able to hold in the moisture of the custard. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I already all laid out in here. This is very, very easy. And I'm just gonna basically mix everything together. Half and half in here. Syrup. A little salt. A little brown sugar. And some eggs. I'm gonna whisk all this together real quick. This dish reminds me of my grandmother. Back in, when I was a little kid, my grandma and my grandfather would get up every morning. My grandfather was blind, he couldn't see. But my grandmother would get up every morning and she would have like coffee cake or bread pudding, and she would always have her coffee. And I was sitting there and I was drinking coffee too. Even though they'd be in there arguing all the time, I'd still be in the midst, and she'd be cooking a fire breakfast. So this reminds me of her. And also they used to call this the poor man's bread, like back in the 12th centuries or something like that. Bread pudding was the poor man's bread because they were frugal. The cooks back then were frugal. They didn't want to throw away stuff. They didn't want the bread to get thrown in the trash. So they would use it and they would make bread pudding out of it. So I'm gonna keep whisking this real quick. And once I'm done whisking it, I'm gonna show you. This is so simple and easy, but it's so delicious. All the ingredients is combined really well, but I'm gonna put a little cinnamon in mine because I feel like it. And a little bit of vanilla extract, just a little bit of vanilla. That much. Okay, so these beautiful blueberries I got over here, we're just gonna put on top. All up in here. Can you see that? Can people see that? And I got some raisins. I'm telling you, this dish is super easy, but it's super delicious and it's so comforting, you guys. It is so comforting. This dish is like heaven, heaven. That's what it's like. Especially when it makes me think about my grandma. Miss Bonnie. Miss Bonnie, Miss Bonnie. I miss her. Okay. So I'm going to pour. And what you want to make sure is that it covers the bread. You want it to cover the bread. Okay? And now you see why I wanted the cornbread to be stale, to be hard, because imagine putting this mixture in here and your bread was soft. It's just gonna turn into mush, and we don't want that. So I have my oven set on 300 degrees, and I'm gonna let this bake for about 60 minutes, okay? Of course, I'm gonna check it in between time just to make sure that it's not done sooner than that, but about 60 minutes. And when this is done, I'll show you the end result. Hey guys, so the bread pudding is finally done. Let me get that for you. Voila, voila, voila. You up close and personal for the people to see. I also made some cream chantilly as well that we're gonna top this with. So I'm gonna cut into it. Yeah, it's hot. Look at that. Woohoo! You see that? You see that? You see that? Show them that way. It is the bomb. Show them that to them inside. And I am going to. You see that? Let's do a little more. Why not? Let me cut a little bit more now. I just want to show y'all this. Look at this. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Jesus. Y'all, we can put a little caramel on it. I just made some chantilly here. Just whip this up real quick. Look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And voila. This dish is so underrated. They call it the poor man's dish. Well, how about this? I call it the rich man's dish, okay? Because sometimes the most underrated things is the best thing. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on my YouTube page. Thank y'all so much. Be blessed. Peace.